All right, let's just jump right in. Welcome to our explainer on the totally chaotic, incredibly lore-heavy first season of a truly unique Mandalorian tabletop RPG campaign. If you love the Star Wars universe but want to see what happens when the supposed heroes are broke, desperate, and basically forced to work together just to survive, you are in the perfect place. We're going to break down exactly how this campaign flips the script on literally everything you've come to expect from a traditional Mandalorian story.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the exile of Clan Starwing, meet our unoptimized bounty squad, and then check out their essential gear. After that, we'll explore some key Elrude sector locations and wrap up with their bounties and ranger training. Let's get to it.
Section 1. Exile of Clan Starwing, A Fall from Grace.
To really understand this story, you have to look at the hilarious juxtaposition of this campaign. When you hear the word Mandalorian, you're probably picturing the classic expectation, right? Elite warriors, indestructible Beskar armor, feared across the entire galaxy. But then you look at our squad's actual reality. They are exiled, drowning in debt just to keep their clan fed, wearing cheap padded armor, and they don't even have their ancestral Beskar. It's a massive reality check. These guys aren't your typical invincible heroes. They are literally surviving on scraps out in the Outer Rim.
So, how did it get this bad? Well, tracing it back reveals a solid decade of disaster. 10 years ago, during the Clone Wars, the leaders of Clan Starwing made a colossal miscalculation. They decided to stand alone against a Dathomirian Zabrak warlord with cybernetic legs. Yeah, we're talking about Darth Maul. Just days later, the clan leaders were slaughtered. Their heads were returned, but that priceless Beskar armor, kept by the enemy. Fast forward to the present day, and the remnants of the clan are exiled in the Elrude sector. They're surviving on meager rations in an algae room, with dozens of members stuck in medical purgatory, awaiting surgeries they simply can't afford. Desperate bounty hunting is their only lifeline to rebuild. And to top it all off, some unknown enemy is actively hunting down anyone wearing their Dragonhead clan crest.
Moving right along to Section 2, the Unoptimized Bounty Squad, a team of mismatched mercenaries.
Because tabletop games are completely driven by player choices, let's look at the wonderfully chaotic squad assembled to pay off this massive clan debt. Keep in mind, they are the 4th squad sent out, so they are definitely not the best the clan has to offer. It's a wildly diverse cast. You've got Piper, the operator, who is a guilt-ridden alcoholic because she missed her family's evacuation ship. Vanna is the gadgeteer, a displaced clan princess desperately trying to prove her worth. Then there's Kiana, a martial artist who has awkwardly stumbled into being the reluctant leader. Khalid is the assassin, who secretly has an active hit-out to execute Piper if she drinks on duty again. We also have the survivalist, serving as medic and mechanic, driven by pure greed to scavenge enough credits for their injured family's limb replacements. And finally, B-1337, affectionately known as Dr. Chuckles, a repurposed battle droid. Now we absolutely have to talk about Dr. Chuckles for a second, because the sheer terror this old Trade Federation B-1 battle droid injects into the party is incredible. It has scalpels for fingers. When the team asked about its self-defense programming, it just flatly stated, "I have killed 343 beings. Are they ants? Negative." It apparently wiped out an entire village when its restraining bolt was temporarily removed by its previous owners. And this absolute nightmare of a machine is their designated medic. Unbelievable. A crucial thing to understand about this squad is that they are unoptimized by design. The Game Master did something absolutely brilliant here by enforcing a unique mechanical rule. The characters were deliberately built with their main skills lower than the party average, meaning if your character was naturally gifted at shooting, you were forced to have fewer actual skill ranks in it than your teammates. This meant the team had to pair up. The naturally gifted mentor had to work alongside the highly trained teammate just to succeed. It forced these misfits to actually rely on each other, completely eliminating that annoying lone wolf problem you see in a lot of role-playing games.
Section 3. Essential Gear and Arsenal. Basically a scrapper's inventory.
Without their famed Beskar armor, the squad had to scrape together whatever weird and wonderful items they could find on a razor-thin budget. To put this into perspective, a standard blaster pistol costs 400 credits, and their starting budget was only 500, so they had to get creative. We're talking cheap slug throwers, simple padded armor, binders, and shock collars. Their arsenal reflects the grim reality of Outer Rim poverty, not top-tier Mandalorian tech. They are literally hitting people with truncheons and vibrating force pikes. Oh, and at the very top of Piper's priority list, Mandalorian Black Ale, which she routinely hoards over actual, survival gear.
And that brings us to this gem, which perfectly captures the squad's dynamic. When faced with the temptation of taking a shady Imperial deal, Kiana, the reluctant leader, turns to the alcoholic Piper
and delivers this line. They are literally using top-shelf Mandalorian black ale to bribe a teammate out of making a terrible, treasonous decision. It's a hilarious, highly dysfunctional, but undeniably effective kind of teamwork.
Section 4. Elrude Sector Key Locations, Surviving the Outer Rim.
So where is all this chaos actually happening? Well, their clan is currently hiding out in the coin system, which operates under a brutal, almost Klingon-esque legal system. Down there, the mere threat of violence, like drawing a weapon without actually firing it, is considered a crime of cowardice. Conflicts legally end only in death or by swearing fealty as a servant. You can't even touch a local without permission. But ironically, this ultra-violent planet is the absolute safest place for the clan to hide. Rival assassins are terrified of violating local laws because they know the neighborhood baker could legally shoot them in the street just for unholstering a blaster.
Their journey across the Elrude sector takes them to some wildly varied environments. First, they visit the sector capital, which is this exclusive, heavily guarded planet featuring a massive governor's mansion that feels almost like a Disney resort. Quite the contrast. Then they spend weeks at a sector ranger training camp, a gritty military barracks where they're eating bland slop in a mess hall. And currently, they are navigating Smuggler Strip, a treacherous mountainous terrain shrouded in a bizarre sensor-jamming cloud cover that renders all their macro binoculars and ship scanners completely useless.
And finally, Section 5. Bounties and Ranger Training. The mission so far.
Let's recap how the squad has actually been paying the bills over these first 11 episodes. Their progress is honestly fascinating. On day 1, they somehow managed to capture their very first target, a guy they lovingly dubbed the Pantsless El Capitano. By week 2, they realized that freelance bounty hunting is a super tough way to feed hundreds of starving refugees, so they enroll in a 6-week Sector Ranger training program for a reliable income. Then week 4 hits, and we get a major plot twist. They discover missing pieces of their ancestral clan's Starwing armor just sitting in their commanding officer's room. He claimed he got it from Mandalorians he fought alongside. Suspicious, right? And by week 5, things go completely sideways. They're ambushed by Jawas and heavily armed Trandoshans out at Smuggler's Strip. Now, let's talk about those Sector Rangers for a second, because joining them was a major shift for the group. The Rangers are Republic-era law enforcement, basically acting like the Texas Rangers of the galaxy. But now, they are awkwardly operating under the shadow of Imperial rule. Joining up gives the squad a steady paycheck and access to military gear, sure, but it also forces these proud, anti-authoritarian outlaws to play nice with Imperial bureaucracy, fill out massive amounts of paperwork, and pretend they actually care about local politics. And that beautifully sets up exactly where Season 1 leaves off. They are trapped at the bottom of a cliff outside Smuggler's Strip, pinned down by scheming Jawas, heavy weapon-wielding Trandoshan snipers, and a force pike-wielding Twi'lek. With their backs against the wall, lacking their legendary Beskar armor, and armed with cheap pikes and stun blasters, the squad is in for the absolute fight of their lives. So, as we await Season 2, the big question is, how on earth will these unoptimized misfits actually survive this? What would you do if you were in their shoes? This campaign proves that sometimes the best stories come from the biggest disadvantages. Thanks for exploring this amazing setup with me, and keep your scanners peeled for what happens next.